deep in a lush green forest, where sunlight filtered through the leaves and small streams murmured day and night. There was a large cave at the foot of a hill. That cave had long been the home of White Rabbit, a gentle and kind-hearted rabbit. White Rabbit not only lived alone, but was always ready to help other animals in the forest. When a squirrel got lost, the rabbit helped it find the way. When a baby bird fell from its nest, the rabbit took care of it until it recovered. Because of that, everyone in the forest loved the rabbit. One morning, White Rabbit went out to look for food. After searching for a while, he was lucky enough to find a fresh, delicious carrot. His favorite food. How lucky, the rabbit said happily. Today, I'll take it back to my cave and enjoy a great meal. But on the way back, because he was too busy thinking about the delicious meal, he didn't watch his steps. He slipped by the stream and almost got swept away by the water. Fortunately, he managed to grab onto a tree root and climbed back up to the bank. But the carrot had fallen into the water and was carried away. White Rabbit sadly returned to his cave, tired and hungry. As he approached the entrance, he suddenly stopped. A strange feeling ran down his spine. Inside the cave, it was pitch dark. The wind blew gently, creating faint, whispering sounds. The rabbit took a deep breath, then called inside, "Is anyone in there?" After a moment, from deep within the cave, a sound echoed back, stretched and distorted. "Anyone in there?" The rabbit jumped back in shock. His heart pounded, and trembling, he shouted, "Who is in my cave?" Immediately, the sound echoed again, this time deeper and more frightening. "In my cave." White Rabbit panicked. In his mind, those distorted sounds slowly formed into a complete sentence. "I am the owner of this cave." Terrified, the rabbit turned and ran away. On the way, the rabbit met Gray Wolf. "What happened?" the wolf asked. The rabbit told him everything. The wolf laughed. "It's probably just the wind. Let me go check." The wolf walked toward the cave, holding his head high. He growled, "Who's in there? Come out." A second later, a sound echoed from inside the cave. "Come out." The wolf froze. The echo sounded as if someone was responding. In his mind, he imagined a large creature hiding in the darkness. I don't have time for this." The wolf stepped back and quickly left. After a while, a striped tiger passed by. Hearing the story, the tiger roared, "Nothing can scare me." The tiger approached the cave and let out a mighty roar. "Come out if you dare." The roar echoed deep into the cave, then bounced back. Dare, dare, dare. The overlapping sounds became distorted and deeper. The tiger suddenly shivered. In its mind, those sounds turned into a giant voice, mocking it. The tiger stepped back, then quickly turned and left. The rhinoceros and the elephant then took turns coming to try. The rhinoceros stomped its feet and shouted loudly. The elephant swung its trunk and trumpeted with great power. But each time, the cave swallowed the sound and returned it as distorted, stretched, and heavy echoes. No one clearly understood what they were hearing, but all of them felt afraid. Before long, the rumor spread throughout the forest. "A giant creature has taken over the rabbit's cave." No one dared to come near anymore. White Rabbit sat at the edge of the forest, sadly looking toward his cave. It was his only home, but now it had become the most frightening place. Just then, a small voice spoke up. "Maybe there's nothing as scary as everyone thinks." Everyone turned around. It was Little Frog, a tiny frog, who lived near the stream. The wolf laughed you. Even the tiger didn't dare. What can you do? Little Frog didn't get angry. It simply said, I'm not strong, but I want to understand what's really going on. Little Frog slowly moved toward the cave. No roaring, no shouting. It stood at the entrance and listened. After a moment, it softly croaked, "Ribbit." The sound traveled into the cave. A few seconds later, the echo returned. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Little Frog smiled. It tried speaking a bit louder. Is anyone in there? The echo immediately replied. Anyone in there? The frog turned back and looked at all the animals. Do you see? It stepped a few more paces into the cave, then said, what you've been hearing isn't someone else's voice. Everyone held their breath. It's your own sound. The frog pointed at the cave wall. This cave is deep and curved. When sound goes in, it bounces back many times, gets stretched, and becomes distorted. It continued, when you shout, it's your own voice coming back. But because it sounds different, you think it's another creature. All the animals were stunned. White Rabbit stepped forward, trembling, as he asked, so, there's no monster? The frog shook its head. No. After a moment, the wolf forced a laugh. The tiger turned away, pretending nothing had happened. The elephant sighed. Then all of them burst into laughter, relieved, yet embarrassed. White Rabbit walked back into the cave. Everything was just as before. There was no monster, only darkness and echoes. From that day on, the cave was no longer a frightening place, but the story of the creature in the cave continued to be told throughout the forest, as a reminder that sometimes what scares us the most is not reality, but what we imagine from what we don't understand. That strength does not always lie in muscles, but in calmness and the courage to face things, and that avoiding fear only makes it grow bigger. Only when we turn back and face it directly do we realize that it was never as scary as we thought.